Hello and welcome. In this video, I want to give a brief overview of what to expect on the first floor of the Abomination Vaults, its main faction, side quests, and some key encounters. This video will not go into every single room or detail, as the adventure itself does an excellent job describing those. Instead, I will focus on the highlights of the floor, giving GMs a quick overview of the most important and/or dangerous bits. This video is meant for game masters who are running or plan to run Abomination Vaults. As such, this video is filled to the brim with spoilers. If you are a player in an Abomination Vaults campaign or plan to be, stop this video now and, fold your laundry. Well then, without further ado, let's get into it. After having been briefed by Rinsavinci about the mysterious light coming from the ruins and its lighthouse, the PCs venture through the swamp to their destination. While the adventure tells you the PCs don't have to literally start in front of the first room, I think it is the best way to get your players into the action as soon as possible. The first floor of the vaults is fully above ground, parts of it are even reaching into the cupola of the lighthouse. The ruins and the lighthouse are the only thing that remains above ground, and parts of this floor are littered with rubble and debris from ceilings that have collapsed. However, even though what remains is clearly old and in a state of disrepair, the radiating magic of the gauntlet has kept it more intact than it should be. The ruins are moist, smelly, and overgrown with mold and creeping vines. PCs will regularly step into puddles, hear the sound of dripping water, and feel the wind blowing through the cracks in the walls. The only faction on this floor are the Mudlicker Midflits. Led by Boss Scrong, these gremlins have been forced out of their home below by what they call the Mushroom-Eyed People. These are the Ghost Queen Morlocks who the party will start to encounter on floor 2. While the Midflits seem like a silly and fun bunch of low-level humanoids, they can seriously hurt a fresh party. These gremlins have also tamed various giant insects, which support them in some of the encounters. Sooner or later, the party will find Boss Scrong's throne room and fight the leader of the Mudlickers. Believing that the party has come to foil his grand plan of invading Otari, the boss will fight the party together with some Midflits and his pet giant spider, Bite. If things start looking dire, or the party can succeed in making an impression on the Midflit-in-chief, Boss Scrong is willing to talk and share some useful information. The leader of the Mudlickers fears the light in the gauntlet and has a crude map of most of the first floor. He would also be in the adventurer's debt if they were to help him and the Mudlickers to fight the Mushroom-Eyed People on the second floor. When role-playing Boss Scrong, try to find a balance between an overambitious little gremlin who is convinced of his own brilliance and a useful ally the party can call on at a later point. Before we go into some of the most interesting and perhaps dangerous encounters, a general word of advice. Low-level characters in Pathfinder are more squishy and at the mercy of the dice. They also have fewer tools available for healing, and out-of-combat healing like treat wounds will take longer. Keep this in mind when running this floor, especially when playing with people new to the system. First of all, let's look at the haunts on this floor, being the Stonescale Kobolds in room 7 and the Blood of Belcorra in room 11. As the adventurer says, these could be the first haunts players encounter, meaning they might be unfamiliar with the mechanics. Use these encounters as a chance to explain and demonstrate how haunts work. The haunt in room 7 is interesting because it does not directly link to Belcorra Horrorvex, but to a slightly more recent event in the ruin's history. I am a little sad that my party did not enter this room, as I think the Kobold Summoner might have enjoyed it. Room 15 is the site of a shrine to Nimbaloth. Emphasize the cold, damp atmosphere in this room, and describe the haunting scenes in the stained glass windows. The recall knowledge check to find out this is a shrine to Nimbaloth has a pretty high DC for low-level characters, but the heroes can still take notes of the imagery. This will not be the last time they find signs of the empty death in the adventure. Room 15 also contains an encounter with corpse lights, a member of the Willow-Wisp family of monsters. Wisps are associated with Nimbleoth, and there are many encounters in this adventure involving them. While corpse lights have a few gimmicks, they do not have all of the annoying, super fun traits of other wisps. Don't worry, there's another encounter on this floor where they will learn about those. Making the corpse light encounter more dynamic and a bit gross is a corpse that one of the wisps can possess. It serves as a kind of second wind to the creature and shows what they are capable of. Deathlight can hit a party very hard, not just dealing damage but also applying the frightened condition. Should the adventurers be in over their head, make it clear that retreat is an option. The corpse lights will not leave the shrine, especially during the day, afraid of any holes in the ceilings that could trigger their sunlight powerlessness. Room 24 contains a flicker wisp, another member of the wisp family with all of the good stuff that makes wisps such a joy to fight. For starters, the flicker wisp is immune to all spells except Fairy Fire, Gust of Wind, Force Barrage, formerly known as Magic Missile, and Quandary, formerly known as Maze. This would put magic-heavy parties at a disadvantage. Additionally, the Flicker Wisp has a few tricks that are powered by the confused condition it can inflict with its Flicker action. Consume Confusion allows the Wisp to heal and extend the duration of the confused condition by an additional round. On top of that, its Innocuous ability can shut down a character's attacks as long as they are confused. The Flicker Wisp can cause some mayhem by itself. New players should be advised to recall knowledge to learn some of its traits, and fleeing from it is absolutely no shame. A final Wisp encounter that is not actually a Wisp encounter is in Room 19 with Spooky Wisp. This former study is inhabited by Tangletop, a fae with big blonde hair pretending to be a very spooky ghost. If the PCs don't fall for his oh-so-spooky show, he will tell them that he fairly recently moved in here and is getting settled into his new home. He has found a very special shiny in a workshop down the hallway, but it is guarded by an actually scary doll. If the PCs can help him get the shiny from that room, he will gladly share what information he has with them. Tangletop might be the first time the party hears the name of Volok Azrene. If the party completes his side quest, Tangletop shares what information he has stitched together from the books in his room, in which he learned of this apprentice to Belcora. He also believes the Gauntlet can fire a beam full of ghosts, based on how he interprets the paintings in Room 22. The most infamous encounter on the first floor is probably Mr. Beak in Room 23, the actual scary doll Tangletop fled from. A soulbound doll powered by the soul of a poor goblin, this fight takes place in a workshop filled with shattered glass. In the original version of this adventure, Mr. Beak had access to the third rank spell Vampiric Touch, now known as Vampiric Feast. This spell deals 6d6 damage and has the death trait, meaning that if a PC gets reduced to 0 hit points by it, they straight up die. I would love to know how many characters ended their career early in a fight with this vicious doll. The updated version no longer has this spell, but Mr. Beak still is a formidable foe. Phantom Pain's persistent damage is dangerous, and the fact PCs have to make a balance check to not take damage from the shards is quite the action tax. If a party finds this encounter too soon, it could have dire consequences. Tangletop from Room 19 should emphasize how dangerous the doll is, giving both your players and their characters a fair warning. Abomination Vaults has quite a few side quests scattered throughout the adventure. On the first floor, 3 side quests can be found. As mentioned earlier, Boss Strong gladly enlists the player characters to help him get rid of the mushroom-eyed people on floor 2. While he promises shiny gems as reward, the Midfleet leader does not have that wealth, and if the party brings proof of their victory, he will just surrender to them and promise to never attack Otari. You might want to allow PCs to roll a check to see that the boss has nothing of value, giving the party the option to consider if this is worth their time, or if they want to help the Midfleets out of the kindness of their heart. Which, to be fair, they absolutely should. Look at these fun little fellas. Another side quest starts in room 17 at the ruined pier. In a rowboat, the PCs can find some delicious fish-shaped pastries and a carving of a bird. Both of these hint at the presence of the Osprey Club, Otari's very own thieves guild. If the PCs learn that the Osprey Club is involved and that their headquarters are in the tavern known as Crook's Nook, they might want to have a conversation with Yin Yasmara. She admits 4 of her people have gone missing after rowing up to the ruins, and she's willing to pay the heroes if they can find them. If your party has any PCs who have a criminal or not entirely legal background, this could be the start for a longer cooperation with Yin Yasmara and the Osprey Club. The Fate Tangletop will ask the PCs to retrieve the shiny from the workshop occupied by Mr. Beak. The shiny is a magnificent bejeweled spyglass kept on display in the workshop. It's worth a few gold pieces, but if the party gives it to Tangletop, he will share everything he could learn from the books in the study he now lives in. If the party decides to help the Mudlickers and specifically Boss Scrong, they will learn of the mushroom-eyed people on floor 2. Boss Scrong mentions that their leader can hurt you just by looking at you. A recon knowledge check or some research in town can help the party to prepare for these humanoids on the floor below. Mr. Beak's Soul Focus gem can be inserted into a partially completed soulbound doll in Volok's workshop on floor 2. That doll will tell the PCs the spirit of Borbo is inside the gem and share some useful information. Volok Azrene is an important encounter a few floors further down. Aside from Tangletop mentioning him, there are only subtle clues of his existence on the first floor. If you want to foreshadow his presence a little bit more, you could have the Midflits or Tangletop mention that sometimes a hooded figure with a blue glowing lantern comes up from below to briefly inspect the lighthouse. This figure also leaves a trail of worms, foreshadowing Volok's transformation into a worm that walks. That's it for this brief overview of floor 1 of the Abomination Vaults. I hope this helps you prepping and running this floor of the AP. If you have any questions or feedback, feel free to drop a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking, subscribing, and perhaps tell your friends about this fun little channel you have found. Thanks for watching, take care, stay safe, and bye-bye.